Zaku Baruch. Good morning, Morai Rabotai. Bezat Hashem, Mincha is going to be 8:10. The learning for today is sponsored for the success of Anonymous and Refuah Shlema Devora Bat Berta, sponsored by Anonymous. Chazaku Baruch. Further sponsorships to contact Rabbi Babayev. As we were discussing yesterday, a very important distinction in the topic of a goy doing things for a Jew. We made a difference and we said that you have to protest if the activity that the goy is doing on the behalf of the Jew is something that is going from a 0 to 100. Lights are off, he turns on the lights, you couldn't benefit, now you could benefit, you have an obligation to protest. However, if there was a candle already lit and he just increased it, or the electricity was, he had a candle and then he turns on the electricity, cases like that, light from the outside, you were able to see and he made it easier to see, all of those cases, you're not allowed to tell him directly, but if he does it on his own for you, you don't have to protest. From this, we learn an interesting difference between turning on lights versus turning off lights. Since it's about benefit, and we know it's a philosophical question, but it's really scientific, darkness isn't a thing. It's the absence of light. So you can't benefit from darkness. You can't benefit from the absence of something. Of course, if it's dark, you're able to sleep, you're able to do things that you wouldn't be able to do with light, but it's not called benefiting from something. And therefore, there's a big difference in halakha, whether a goy wants to turn on a light in a dark room where you'd be obligated to protest, versus he wants to turn off on his own a light from a room that's already lit. In that case, you wouldn't be obligated to protest, because there's no direct benefit from that melacha. The melacha is the turning off, and turning off is not a thing that you directly benefit from. If you take water and you heat it up and you drink that hot water, you benefited from something. You turned on a light, you're using light, you benefited from something. What's the thing I benefited from? From darkness. Darkness isn't a thing. And therefore, when a goy comes to turn off a light, then it's mutar and I don't have to protest. Not only that, I'm allowed to hint to a goy, like we mentioned yesterday. A person could go ahead and say, wow, there's so much light in this room, I'm not able to sleep, I have such difficulty sleeping with the lights on, and the goy on his own understands that he wants him to turn off the light and he does it, totally mutar. You didn't do anything wrong, again, because there's no obligation to protest. I didn't directly tell him to do it, I didn't use any language of command, I didn't say, I need someone, I need to turn off the light. That would be asul, because you're telling him to turn off the light, you're just not mentioning his name. So that's a command. But if you say a story and he does it on his own and it's turning off the lights, that would be permitted, as opposed to turning on the lights, which would be asul. Baruch Adonai le'olam. Amen ve'amen.